Hello and welcome back to episode 75 and quest 7 of the Discovery Tour, which is the last one, I believe. New life, new lands. 885 CE, Jorvik, Anglo-Saxon Britain. Review Dr. Kat Jorman. 14 years have passed. Thorstein and Gunhilda, now wealthy merchants in a bustling hub of trade between Vikings and Anglo-Saxons, known as the city of Jorvik, begin what should be a perfect day. Come on. New life, new lands. Thorsten and Gunhilda have made a name for themselves and are living comfortably in Coppergate. Trig, their former slave, is to be married to an Anglo-Saxon woman, a union that has raised tempers on something.
The sky should remain clear for this afternoon.
It's a shame they did not marry at dawn. Light brings beauty to the fore.
Is she anyone I know?
You can bid her good day the next time you spy near her.
Never fear. I'll have plenty of time for beauty while I help Edith prepare. You should not let Trig labor alone too long, lest he fail his husbandly duties at a crucial moment.
I need to spend some time in the shop. And then there's the matter of your gift.
The closest kept secret in all our 20 years of marriage. I'm impressed you've been able to hold your tongue.
You surprise me every day. I thought time I returned the favor, at least once.
You already have. I may have grumbled when you woke me, but the sunrise was especially beautiful.
Tomorrow then, as well?
Let's get through today first.
Muni úrói á Írlandi halda fram. Sögur segja að Danir og Austmenn sambindast baujarlíður við öðrum.
Alright, what are we doing?
God what a summa deine montagne franjan. Und a witha köthwe. Fra elle er.
You're on Trig at the docks.
17 alnir silki, það segi ég. Mun afláðast.
Jorvik, conquest to boom. After the Scandinavians seized and settled in Jorvik, now called York, in 866 CE, archaeological evidence suggests that it also appeared of great change and growth, a boom.
Rand was mint erato sarahe.
Before his conquest, Jorvik, as the Anglo-Saxons called it, was made up of distant, scattered buildings. After it was taken by the Vikings, archaeological evidence suggests that new houses were erected and grouped together in an organized way. Further research suggests that around the same time that the Vikings settled on both sides of the river Ouse, there was a giant leap in population in the area. This finds reflects Jorvik's development as an urban center during this period. This settlement is among the things left behind by Jorvik's inhabitants, a reminder that even in times of growth and prosperity, war was still a part of daily life. That's a really cool helmet. The market of Coppergate. The town of Jorvik was a major commercial and international center. It owed part of its success to its thriving craft market. The neighborhood of Coppergate was a vibrant hub of culture, craftsmanship and trade. A visitor to Cobbergate's market would discover goods and treasures from every corner of the known world. They would also find craftsmen and craftswomen of every kind, potters, weavers, silversmiths, blacksmiths, lettersmiths, bead makers, glass makers, comb makers, sculptors of wood, horn, antler, stone, bone, and more. This iron lock and these leather shoes are just a few of the crafts they could encounter. They might also find slaves at the market, for slavery played a large role in the social and economic structures of the medieval Scandinavians and Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Scandinavian fashion. The town of Jorvik was a center of Nordic trade. There, Anglo-Saxons and Scandinavians exchanged not only merchandise but also culture, style, and fashion. Wool was the most used material by both peoples, followed by linen. Silk could be found in clothing that had been brought to Anglo-Saxon Britain all the way from the Middle and Far East. Anglo-Saxons and Scandinavians had different fashion styles. The Scandinavians liked dyes more than the Anglo-Saxons. Clothing was brighter and more colorful. Coming together of the Anglo-Saxon and Scandinavian fashion styles can be traced by looking at brooches, decorative pins worn by women. When the Scandinavians first began to settle in Anglo-Saxon Britain, it was easy to tell whose brooches were whose. The Scandinavian and Anglo-Saxon models were different in size, shape, decoration, and attachment. As the two cultures grew closer over time, their fashion styles and brooches became less distinct and harder to tell apart. The intricate brooch of Pitney seen here is an excellent example of Anglo-Scandinavian craftsmanship. Where is that? Up there. Jorvik's architecture. Booming city under Viking rule.
Jorvik, now called York, is a great example of how Anglo-Saxon and Norse civilizations merged over time. Its multiple docks and narrow streets filled with exotic supplies welcomed international traders year-round. To represent this thriving hub, level artists and level designers used Coppergate, one of the city's most notorious landmarks. Known at the time as the Cup Street, where merchants sold handmade cups and pots, it was taken as a reference and extended to the rest of the town. With its small wooden houses and stalls tightly built together, Jorvik clashes with stone-built Anglo-Saxon towns.
Animus translate school. Dead language pretty much alive.
It seems that Vikings and Anglo-Saxons could roughly understand each other at the time, as both of their languages sounded similar and had diverged only a few centuries before. To help actors during the recordings, the voice design team relied on linguists such as runologist Maya Backvall of Uppsala University. Uppsala. It makes me kind of happy, that word. Lines were then written in 3 versions. In English, for context, in the original language, Latin, Old Norse, Old English, and in phonetics for accurate pronunciation. Pronunciation, like that. Interestingly, it felt quite natural for Icelandic actors to pronounce Old Norse. Well, they wouldn't need a dictionary if their great-great-great-great-grandparents were around to translate, though that would be very unlikely.
Right. The world comes to Jorvik. In the early Middle Ages, the center of European trade moved from the Mediterranean to the northern seas. This brought goods and riches from all over the world to the Scandinavian town of Jorvik. Goods were brought all the way from Eastern Asia to Jorvik's markets. The settlers could get their hands on exotic products like spices, cinnamon, pepper, silk was shown here as cornelian bead all the way from India. The Scandinavians liked to show off how wealthy they were. Wearing a silk tunic or headdress was a great way to let the world know they were rich. Character unlocked. Stone sculptures. Many people sculpted stone to express religious beliefs or to celebrate individuals and events. These stunning works of art shed light on the lives of those who created them. About 400 Anglo-Scandinavian stone sculptures were erected between 876 and 1066 CE. This showed in new sculptures suggested that the Danelaws population was growing and becoming wealthier. Some of these sculptures were engraved with both Christian and heathen symbols. For example, this cross features both a crucified Christ and intricate pagan patterns. This could mean that Christian and pagan beliefs are becoming more and more woven together in Anglo-Scandinavian society. Cargo ship, the Knorr. Seafaring medieval Scandinavian people had many types of vessel, but the one they probably used the most was the cargo ship, the ocean-going trader, sometimes called the Knorr. As seen in this image, the ocean-going trader's hull was the broadest, widest and deepest of all the Norse ships. This allowed her to bear more weight than her brethren, up to 24 tons in cargo. Wow! I mean, isn't that a lot, like, even by today's standards with a small ship? That sounds like a lot. Because the Knorr could carry such heavy loads, the ship was often used for commercial activities, such as trade or transport. The ocean-going trader was adaptable. She could sail across both vast seas and shallow inland rivers. She could carry Scandinavian settlers and their livestock to the colonies, be they neighboring territories like Anglo-Saxon Britain or distant shores like Iceland or Greenland. As a merchant ship, the ocean-going trader did not need to maneuver as quickly as a warship. This meant she needed fewer crew members and oars to help her change course. Conveniently, this left more room for cargo and merchandise.
Trick! Started unloading without me, I see.
Carry the new wares to your market stall in Coppergate.
Heavy labor before getting married. Your bride won't want to seal the covenant with a kiss.
If you don't want me to sweat so much, you can help me move these wares to our stall.
I give you your freedom and you see fit to order me around. You're lucky I've no more expeditions to tempt you with.
Ah, Edith would never have it. She means to settle and raise a fine crop of golden-haired Angles.
I've never dared ask what drew you to her. I know there are many fine Norse women who were devastated when you announced your betrothal.
She brought me to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I know that doesn't seem like much to some, yet she also thinks differently. Every conversation is a discovery of where our family traditions overlap and where they differ.
A meeting of hearts and minds, then. You're doubly blessed.
Thrice, Thorstein, for your friendship and our new trade partnership.
Your hard work made me a rich man. It's only fair I return the favor.
What are we doing? What?
I'll have to make a few sales today to cover the cost of Trick's wedding gift. Welcome to Jorvik. I have fine wools from across the sea, mead and honey from the lands to the south, and warm winter pelts from the northern tribes.
Good day. I've traveled from the Caliphate in search of gifts for the wedding of my daughter. I need 16 ells of wool, the pelt of a large bear, and 3 pots of summer honey. I hear your prices are excellent.
You've heard true. Let me tally the cost.
Let's try to be greedy here.
The least I could ask for is 2 ounces of gold and 4 ounces of silver.
You think because I'm a foreigner, I'm a fool? You'll have no business of mine.
That didn't
I'll
work.
ensure others know to stay away as well.
No! Greed
Good day
didn't
to you,
work.
sir. We're looking for donations to help the sick and the poor. Do you have anything you could offer?
A noble cause, to be certain. Let me think. I can give you some mead and some meat to fill empty bellies, but I'm afraid I can do little more.
Any donation is welcome, brother. The Lord favors those who give joyfully.
1 hour later.
Bjorn! It's been many months. How goes the northern trade?
Not well. The pigs are savages, and the Angles are little better. They all want something for nothing, with no middle ground to be had.
Surely that's the nature of business, my friend. Finding a bargain that will work for everyone.
Not when I owe money to Guthrum, it isn't. Can I count on you, Thorstein? If his men come for me, will you stand by my side?
Take the cloak pins from that shelf and sell them in the marketplace. They'll fetch a fine price for little effort.
Enough to keep Guthrum happy while I find buyers for my other wares, to be sure. You've saved me again, brother. Thank you.
Well, now we can do this first. Hello?
Hello. I would like to commission a runestone to commemorate many years of happiness and success with my wife.
A fine choice with many options.
I was afraid of that. Show me.
First, you will need to select the type of stone.
Granite, please.
A solid choice. It will weather the elements for generations to come. Is that the type of stone you want?
Yes, it is.
Then let us continue. Now you will need to choose what you want engraved on your runestone.
Something romantic.
Love me. I love you, Gunhilda. Kiss me. I know you well.
A declaration for the ages. Is this the inscription you want?
Sure.
Yes.
I'll get started on it right away. Your wife is sure to be happy with the results. All that remains is to confirm the design you would like me to carve for you.
Gladly.
Choose a design for your runestone. Huh. What about this one? It's only these two?
Tell me about this style of carving.
The cross represents the Christians' redemption through the death of their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It is a symbol of faith, hope, and eternal love. Do you want a Christian cross for your wife?
No.
I'll be here if you have any more questions.
This looks like a nicely hewn runestone.
It is tall and proud. A runestone will declare your words to the world for all the ages. It is a symbol of strength, wealth, and remembrance. Do you want a runestone for your wife? A good, solid runestone will soon be yours then. I am certain your wife will be delighted with the results. Then we are all done.
Bioarchaeology. Bioarchaeology is a study of the past to human remains. Examining remains like bones and skeletons by archaeologists can gain insights into past societies. One way that by archaeologists study the past is through stable isotope analysis. Stable isotopes are atoms with the same amount of protons and electrons, but different numbers of neutrons. The components do not decay with time. By studying stable isotope ratios in human bones, such as this skull, bioarchaeologists can learn about the eating habits and migration patterns of ancient humans. York haunted.
I don't know if you like rumours, but I do, and rumour has it York is one of England's most haunted cities. Built by the Romans, it's said that ghosts of fallen soldiers still roam the city, inspiring a locally brewed beverage, the Centurion's Ghost. Must be a pale ale. To emulate this mystical atmosphere, level designers took the opportunity to place an underground location, reusing Roman-era abandoned sewers. It's a way for players to walk around unnoticed. But what if those ghost rumours are true? They're not true. Ghosts don't exist. Sleep well.
When the threads get tangled like that, you need to take a walk to cool your head. One small move and you'll need to cut the whole cloth free.
Easy to say, harder to do. I swear, some days the shuttle has a mind of its own.
Those are the days you most need to rest. Come back with a clear head and you'll find the shuttle is more agreeable as well.
Cross and hammer. Many stone monuments have been found in Danelaw. Some are engraved with both Christian and heathen symbols, suggesting that many Anglo-Scandinavians held onto their pagan beliefs even after they had become Christian. The slow merging of Christian and pagan beliefs can be seen in these two artifacts. This pennant of Thor's hammer has been decorated with a Christian cross. The person who wore it had both pagan and Christian beliefs. This mold has been carved to cast both Christian crosses and the Norse god Thor's hammers in metal. The craftsman who owned it could use it to make pennants for his customers, whether they were Christian, heathen, or somewhere in between.
Well, you made it. And it seems you washed. Both admirable qualities in the husband.
I try to hold myself to some kind of standard.
The trick is to let it slip, little by little, as the years go by.
Is this truly your advice on how to begin a marriage?
No, my friend. It's advice on how to end one. What a vision stands before me. But of course, my wife had an excellent canvas to work with.
Ever the flatterer, Thorstein. Don't you know I'm soon to be a married woman?
Which is why I must get all of my compliments in now, before you turn as haggard as Gunhilda.
One of these days, she won't forgive you for these jests.
Then on that day, I hope the gods themselves will intervene. Father Elrich, Trig brought me to one of those Christian gatherings last week. I didn't understand a word of it, but your conviction was riveting.
You honor me, Thorstein. Praise from the merchant with the silver tongue speaks volumes to my success in communicating God's glory.
It's a task you are most well suited for.
I try, my son. Brothers and sisters, we are gathered here today to witness a merging of the traditions of Northumbria and Norway, as Trig and Edith begin their new life together. Here, where Edith's mother and father are buried, may they give their blessing to this holy union as they watch from within the Lord's sight. Love is patient and kind. It is not boastful or proud. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Trig, do you take Edith to be your wife, here in the sight of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
I do.
Edith, do you take Trig to be your husband, with Almighty God and your parents' souls as witness?
I do.
Then let no man separate what God has joined together. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
May Freya bless you with many children, and Thor protect you from life's storms.
Thank you, my friends.
I'm so happy for them.
With any luck, their marriage will be as long and prosperous as ours.
I don't know about that. There's a new baker in Coppergate who's quite caught my eye.
Then I suppose I'd best learn to bake.
Thorstein! I've been looking everywhere. I said you would vouch for me, but they want the gold now!
Slow down, Bjorn. We'll talk to them together.
I fear they want to do more than talk, brother.
My husband and I are on our way home.
This won't take long, I promise. Keep that delicious stew of yours by the fire, and I'll be back before you can lay out the bolts.
If you don't have him home before moonrise, I will come and find you. You won't like what happens after that.
Please, Thorstein, quickly!
Keep the hearth warm for me, my love.
Som orättena kom Thorkestr. Mon lathori
Gunhilda waited for Thorstein's return in Wayne. What? What the hell is this now? We're in the underworld. All of a sudden. What?
You coddle him, my love. He's a grown man, not an errant child.
Slaves talk, Gunhilda. If he returns to his family and says we mistreated him, I might find myself in a duel.
No duels until you've worked on your swordsmanship. Where are you? Thorstein? Thorstein, wait!
I should know better than to ever doubt you.
Thorstein, where are you? Let me help you!
Was it a dream? Thorstein has disappeared and Gunhilda is bereft. today's 20 years, she has only one goal: to discover her husband's fate and, if necessary, to avenge him. Day completed. Well, that turned dark quickly. Discover settlement pack. Hold on here. What? There's another quest? Where fates align. Route to Lucy Malbus. Thorsten awakens in an unfamiliar land. His memories gone to discover what he has lost. You'll have to sacrifice the unthinkable and in confronting fate once and for all, accept that he will forever be bound by it. Okay. Well, let's do it in one episode. I didn't expect this. So there was only one left. Fate aligns. Thorsten is alone in a strange place, unaware of the events that led him there. He must find a way to remember if he is to find his way home, for his past might be the only key to his future. Unknown.
How are you so quick to forget? I don't trust him.
What happened? I was stressed. I can't remember.
Observe your surroundings. Are we in America? Jotunheim.
You! Come over here! Don't be shy!
Where am I?
Jotunheim, land of the giants. Loki thought it would be fun to play a trick on you humans.
I need a word with him.
Feisty! Don't waste your time. Loki's always up to no good. He probably did it so I wouldn't notice him stealing my stuff. And the scoundrel was right.
This must be a dream.
Follow tour.
I wish it was. Then I wouldn't be stuck cleaning up Loki's messes anymore. Come.
Hold on. Loki, Jotunheim. Are you supposed to be Thor, the giant slayer?
What do you mean supposed to be? I am Thor.
I'll have to take your word for it. My mind feels like someone's poked holes in it.
Do not worry about that. We will have to restore your memory to find out where you belong anyway. But first, you must help me.
What could I possibly do that the god of the people cannot?
I need you to find my gauntlets and belt. Without them, I cannot use my hammer. And without my hammer, I would not last long in a village full of giants. So I need you to handle it. Once you get my things, I will take you to the Well of Mimir. Easy.
For you?
You will not be harmed. God's honor. But I will be waiting for you here. Just in case.
Can we walk a bit faster? Contours, gloves and belt. Okay. Yggdrasil, the World Tree. In Norse mythology, Yggdrasil, the World Tree, was the backbone of the entire universe. The tree was older than creation itself. It was believed that the 9 worlds of Norse mythology were held within Yggdrasil's roots and branches. Some imagined Yggdrasil as an oak tree, others as an ash. This oldest has embraced the worlds of Norse gods or poets who described it as a breathtakingly beautiful. Along with the 9 worlds, Yggdrasil was home to many creatures of Norse mythology. Among them was Ratatoskr, the wisecracking squirrel who would carry gossip from one branch of Yggdrasil to another, from one world to the next.
Giants.
Are you lost, human?
Kinda.
What's an ankle biter doing here?
Giants, children of Ymir. In Norse mythology, the very first being was called Ymir. Ymir was created when fire met and melted ice. The race of giants, the Jötnar, are said to have been born from the sweat of Ymir's armpit. Even though giants and gods were often enemies in Norse mythology, some gods report giants themselves. According to legend, the god Odin was a descendant of Ymir. This did not stop him from defeating and slaying his ancestor. To escape Odin, the other giants sailed away on Ymir's blood until they reached a new world, Jotunheim. Norse lore described Jotunheim as a harsh place filled with cold, stark landscapes. His artists are sought to capture this eerie, enormous and unsettling world. The giants lived in both Jotunheim and Muspelheim, the world of fire and ashes. The leader of the Muspels, Surtur, was a cruel giant capable of terrible destruction. The legends say that he is destined to bring fire and death to Asgard, land of the gods, at Ragnarok, the end of days.
They seem much more peaceful than in the sagas.
Muni Kolbjörn gera blóðblóm af einu hennar mannsins.
Where is that pointing to? Oh, there's a ladder.
That must be Thor's belt. This barrel seems refreshing. And a great place to hide something.
The sacred mead of poetry. Mead was a sacred drink for the Norse people. It was made from fermented honey, water and spices. According to legend, the very first mead had another ingredient. blood. They also had medical powers and could give the gift of poetry. Sacred meat of poetry. Long ago, there lived a god named Kvasir. Kvasir was one of the most intelligent and knowledgeable creatures in the universe. He traveled a lot, sharing his wisdom, until one day, two dwarves decided to keep his knowledge for themselves. They killed Kvasir to steal his wisdom, and they mixed his blood with honey to create the very first mead. It was a medical potion that could give anyone who drank it the power of scholarship, poetry. Norse people with better gifts were said to have tasted this magical mead, seen here contained in a drinking horn in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Is it in here? Yeah.
Gloves.
Á hann Eirík, rauðhærðri.
What's your problem with those giants? They seem pretty peaceful to me.
They belittled me. All right, let's go.
Are we going to Midgard?
No, to Mimir's well. Must be certain Midgard is where you're meant to be. Mimir will know.
His name sounds familiar.
As far back as I can remember, my father Odin has craved knowledge and wisdom of any kind. But he came to be obsessed with his future, and more especially his own downfall. So he too drank the well's magical water. But to access it, he had to sacrifice his eye to Mimir, the well's guardian.
I see. Pay a toll to acquire what you seek.
Exactly. You must be prepared. You won't get out of there the same as you've entered. Do you know what you will sacrifice?
It will take some thought.
Here we are. Off you go.
You're not coming with me.
Do you really need more hand-holding? Go. I will wait for you. Oh, and be respectful. Mimir doesn't have the same tolerance for mortals that I do.
All right.
Why? Why?
What happened?
I sacrificed the only thing I had! My hammer! My human vessel!
Mimir didn't grant you the knowledge you sought?
I wanted to best my enemies, to see the looks on their faces as all their plans came to naught. Now I'm trapped here. I can never return to Midgard. What's the point of outwitting your foes if they'll never even know it?
Ah, I see.
Be careful. Learn from my mistake. Don't sacrifice anything you will regret.
The Well of Mimir. The very bottom of the world tree was the Well of Mimir, or Mimir's brother. According to Norse myth, the water of the well was magical. Those who drank it would be given great knowledge at a terrible price. Eons ago, a great war shook the world tree to its roots. The one armies of different realms clashed on the battlefield. Eventually a truce was called, and hostages were exchanged to keep the peace. One of these hostages was Mimir, a god of knowledge and intelligence, and a good friend to Odin, the All-Father. Mimir's time as a hostess ended badly when he lost his head, literally. His captors sent the head back to his friend Odin, who preserved it with magic. Odin's skill and power allowed Mimir to remain alive as a head without a body. Mimir was placed beside a well at the bottom of Yggdrasil, seen here in artistic sketches for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There he could oversee the medical waters and make sure that no one drank them without paying the price.
Enter, Thorstein of Midgard. I know what you seek. Reveal your sacrifice, and your desire may be granted.
As I know nothing of my past, and own nothing of value, I can only sacrifice my future. Reaching the great hall of Odin upon my death would be the greatest honor. Wise Mimir, I sacrifice to you my chance to ever enter Valhalla.
Thorstein of Midgard, you have chosen to sacrifice any hope to fight alongside Odin at Ragnarok. Let it be so. You may drink from my waters now, and remember your past. The betrayal of someone close has brought you here.
I died. Bjorn did this to me. Why?
You have the answers you sought.
No, I need to know. What happened to Gunhilda?
You cannot drink again. You have nothing left to sacrifice.
Wait! Mimir, come back! Now that I finally remember your face, is seeing you again the future I gave up?
Well, this is getting pretty dark.
Dead all along?
There was a high chance, yes. I do not know of death as you humans do. To us gods, Death is only part of an endless cycle of rebirth. Until Ragnarok, that is.
Well, I don't have that privilege. What am I to do now?
I could take you to the Norns. Only they will know where you ought to go.
I'm tired of being thrown around like a wet cloth. Is this the god's humor?
Only Loki's. I hate that he's using my people against me. You were caught in the middle, and I am sorry.
Your excuses won't bring me back to life.
There! My faithful goats Tangrisnir and Tangnjoster will take us to Asgard, to the Norns.
This is your chariot?
You cannot see its true form. Do not be fooled by my goat's sides. They are mightier than 100 giants. Shall we go?
Sure.
Yes. I can't stand the sight of this place anymore.
Come on. They ride towards the Well of Udur, with the Norse view the threads of destiny.
The Norns. I see them. They hardly seem to notice me.
So we have more stuff to do here.
Would they really care for me immortal?
A human in the Well of Udur. This I had to see for myself.
I've come to seek the Norns' counsel and find an end to this meandering.
Of course. Another victim of Loki's mischief. I understand your frustration. We cannot approach the Norns, nor the threats they weave.
These cats seem to have approached them just fine.
Mighty creatures, are they not? Loki brought them here. They entangled the threats and made a mess. But no matter. Your threat followed its course. Nothing can ever change your destiny. Trust me, I've tried.
What about my wife, Gunhilda? Do you know where she is?
I wouldn't care to know. You are in Asgard, talking to the All-Father, and all you can think of is your wife. You mortals have such one-track minds. Take your questions to Freya, along with these cats of hers. She'll know how to indulge you.
All right then. How do I get out of here?
It will take longer for me to explain than to just send you away. Good luck.
I have no idea what's going on. The 9 realms. According to Norse myths, Yggdrasil, the world tree, was at the center of the universe. Everything existed around it, and all 9 worlds were grouped within its roots and branches. Yggdrasil was nearly symmetrical. Its branches were as long as its roots, and they almost touched in a circle. The circular quality symbolized order and eternity. The highest of 9 realms was Asgard, placed in Yggdrasil's upper branches. Asgard was home to the Aesir gods, including Odin and Thor. The lost realm, nestled among Yggdrasil's roots, was Helheim, a land of the dead governed by the goddess Hel. Right in the middle of Yggdrasil was Midgard, in Middle-earth, where the mortal humans lived. The other realms were Alfheim, home of the light elves, Svartalfheim, land of the dark elves and dwarves, Vanaheim, kingdom of the Vanir, tribe of gods, Niflheim, icy and frostbitten in the world, Muspelheim, seen here, where brimstone, fire and smoke reign supreme, and Jotunheim, home of the giants. Let's see. The myth of horned helmets. We've lied to you for 200 years.
I'm going to level with you now and prepare yourself. Vikings did not wear horned helmets. This dreadful misconception came from the Wagnerian opera The Ring of the Nibelung from 1876, but you knew that. Horned and winged helmets were at that stage part of the actors' costumes, a way for the warriors to seem more grandiose on stage. Ever since then, depictions of Vikings wearing big, horned helmets were in plentiful supply, and this wrongful image has persisted to this day. Beside the fact that horned helmets would have been anything but practical on the battlefield, it seems that the very few ones found by archaeologists were only used for ritual purposes. So you can use that fact next time you want to ruin a Viking's Halloween party.
Yeah. That is always good. Where is that? Down there. Huh. This looks sketchy. Oh shit. He's very scary looking. Welcome to Asgard. Taking a bridge between the infinitely small and the infinitely big.
Being the land of mighty gods, Asgard had to be scaled accordingly. To create this sense of magnitude, level designers played on heights with towers that reach up into the sky to meet the immense branches of Yggdrasil, the mythical world tree. The wolf, Fenrir, went through the same fate. Indeed, the infamous beast is 10 times the size of a normal wolf, thanks to the character modelers. To set AC Valhalla's Asgard apart, developers focused on depicting the myths of the Viking sagas, with doors to other realms, Well of Norns, and so on, combined with glimpses of Eivor's past life and memories. A great shame it'll all be destroyed come Ragnarok.
Three left. Character unlocked. Völva, a soothsayer. The Völvers were known for their skill in divination, and knowledge passed down across generations of women. These seeresses could journey through time and space, divining the future through magic and rituals. One way to divine was to read the runes, each one held a different power. Another way to gain magical insight was through a ritual trance, a Seder. The first person to practice the Seder was the goddess Freya. This trance may have involved a wand or staff, symbolically ending like a spindle that ever used to spin the threads of fate. Once spun, the threads could be read and understood. A Völva was likely to live a little bit on the fringes of society. Her powers were mysterious and intimidating. She could help people, but she could also harm them. The Seder ritual could be used to curse someone in spinning the threads of fate. A Völva could potentially damage a person's destiny. Run! Goddess Freya. Goddess Freya was known for stunning beauty. She cared for women in childbirth and was linked to fertility. Freya was also very skilled at magic. Freya was the most gifted among the Norse gods at Seder, the art of divination or prophecy. Seder allowed one to travel beyond space and time to catch a glimpse of what fate had in store. Odin learned how to see the future from Freya. Freya also had an unusual way of getting around. Eden has it that she loves to surround herself with cats. In fact, the chariot was pulled not by horses but by two massive blue and grey cats. Gifts from the Norse god of thunder, Thor. This pendant representing the goddess could have been used in ceremonies or offerings to honor her. Huh. It almost looks like she has a cat face. Cat girl. I see up there. Time. Really? Across the Rainbow Bridge. The only way to reach Asgard, the realm of the gods, was by crossing the Rainbow Bridge in Bifrost. The shimmering, flaming bridge was almost indestructible. It would only be broken at Ragnarok, the end of days. The Rainbow Bridge, seen here in concept art for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, was protected by the god Heimdall. Heimdall shone as bright as a flame from head to toe. His teeth were solid gold and gleamed like the sun. His eyesight was sharper than an eagle's, and he could hear everything, everywhere. This made him perfect for his task, standing watch over the entrance to Asgard all day and all night. Heimdall would scan the horizon for threats, a vigilant protector of the realm. According to legend, Heimdall, standing watch, will one day see enemy armies crossing the Bifrost. As the troops storm Rainbow Bridge, Heimdall will blow his great horn, Gjallarhorn, to warn the gods that the end of Asgard is nigh, for Ragnarok has come at last. Where are you? Right there. Nowhere to be seen.
If these are Freya's cats, they must be leading to her. Am I following them, or are they following me? Freya must know that cats are better creatures than people.
They definitely are.
Never imagined I'd spend my afterlife leading a herd of cats. I'm surprised they're even awake. I'm covered in cat hair now.
My cats! Come here, my darlings. I've looked all over for you.
Goddess Freya, I've brought back...
Thank you. I'm surprised they followed you here. Who are you?
Thorstein of Midgard. The Allfather sent me to see you. I've died, and I have nowhere to go.
I see. Odin knows I cannot resist a stray in need. Listen, darling. Everyone has somewhere they ought to be. Even you. Follow me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I've given up all hope of entering Valhalla.
Then you were never destined to reach Valhalla.
How so? I lived a good and honorable life. Don't I deserve an honorable death?
Maybe, just not in Odin's great hall. You shall accompany me to Folkvanger, my home.
Will my wife be there? Have you seen Gunhilda?
I do not know, but if it's her fate, she will join you there.
I'd go through 1,000 deaths if it meant seeing her again.
Your love is true and strong. Your fates must be intertwined. All hope isn't lost, but I do not make promises of outcomes I cannot control.
If Loki hadn't interfered with my thread...
You would have ended up just where you are now, with or without Loki's hand.
How can you tolerate his misdeeds? It's the one thing I never understood.
We are not to question it. It's just who he is. Loki, just as any of us, is a part of the greater scheme. But I know how you must feel. I've wanted to rip that smug smile of his from his face more than once. Almost went through with it one day.
He must have done something awful.
The worst thing he could possibly do. He stole my dear Brissinger men.
One of your cats?
No, my necklace.
Oh.
My most precious possession. I'd give anything for it. And I did. Because of Loki, 100 men gave their lives to Odin that day. But it was written. We cannot dwell on it.
So I never had a choice.
Exactly. You understand. These doors will take you to Folkvanger, my kingdom. Afterlife of the slain and righteous. Just as luxurious as Odin's great hall.
Thank you.
Long last, Thorstein and Gunhilda reunited in the fields of Folkvanger. The Vikings' journey has come to an end. Lovers reunited. There it is, the shiny sword. Pedal killing sword, medical short sword. Character unlocked, Loki. Thank you for playing. Discover your button page. Feeling adventurous, explore the world to discover more rewards, replay quests. Okay. Freya's Garden. Learnings. Yeah, we got everything now. That is pretty cool. But I don't think I did all the... Where is it? All the discovery things in England. So yeah, we have a bunch of this left to do. A hidden army. Anglo-Saxon church officials considered the Scandinavians to be pagans through and through. They even called them the Great Hidden Army. However, this army of heathens might have included the Christians. In order to trade goods with Christians or to climb ladders of political and social power, many heathen settlers had to become Christians themselves. Conversion to Christianity was believed to shape both one's life and afterlife. As a person lay on their deathbed, they sometimes would turn to the Christian faith to secure their soul against eternal damnation. This was a choice made by this man whose final resting place is marked by a hogback gravestone and a sculpted handheld cross. Where is that one? Is it inside? Yep. The move to Christianity. Over time, pagan Scandinavian settlers began to convert to Christianity. There were many reasons for this shift. Wolf here, Archbishop of York, and a person who issued the Staika coin, seen here, was eager to welcome new members to his church. Through his efforts and those of his clergy, many pagan settlers became Christian. Members of the religious and secular elite also helped to convert the settlers. Powerful Anglo-Saxons rubbed shoulders with powerful Scandinavians. This gave them the chance to introduce Christian ideas to the pagan chieftains. The settlers had come from many different places, and it is possible that some of them had encountered Christians before. Their possible familiarity with Christianity might have made them more willing to convert. The Mint of Jorvik. Jorvik had the first and only mint, a place where coins are made, north of the Humber River. Jorvik's mint was a sign of its booming economy. It also gave the town a lot of social and political power. A few decades after Jorvik was conquered by the Vikings, kings and archbishops started to mint coins there. Coins stamped with coin dice like these, some of them marked with both Christian and pagan symbols. This suggests that the two religions were beginning to mix and merge more and more with one another. The Roman fortress. The Romans built the fortress of Eboracum in 71 CE to house the troops and secure their colony in Britannia. 8 centuries later, the fort was crumbling. This made it easier for the Vikings to seize the town. After the Vikings conquered the town and renamed it Jorvik, they built new fortifications around the ancient Roman fortress, whose rectangular tower is pictured here. While its lower parts are Roman, the upper parts are late medieval. Eventually the eastern and southern walls of the fortress were torn down so that the new settlements outside could join the rest of the town. Jorvik would continue to expand, eventually becoming larger than Hedeby, Denmark, and Birka, Sweden, two famous Scandinavian commercial centers. To speak Viking, Scandinavians left a deep mark on the Anglo-Saxon world. Their influence can still be felt today in the English language itself. Old Norse vocabulary is deeply woven into the English spoken today. For example, the Old Norse word for village, by, and that is the word for village in modern Swedish as well. By still ends the names of many towns, like Derby, yeah. That's interesting. The word plow used in farming comes from the Norse word ploger, plog in modern Swedish. The word kid seen here meant young goat in Old Norse today. It refers to both young goats and young humans. These are only a few examples of the many Viking words still in use today. Slavery. Slavery played a large role in the social and economic structures of both the medieval Scandinavians and the Anglo-Saxons. Collars, chains, and iron shackles like these found in Ireland would have been worn by slaves in the Viking era. Scandinavian settlers may have brought slaves with them to the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. As they conquered more territory, they likely enslaved more people. However, slavery was not new to the Anglo-Saxon territories. Even though Christianity opposed slavery in theory, there were many slaves in Anglo-Saxon society. Scandinavian settlers may have bought slaves from the local Anglo-Saxons. Slaves were used by both Anglo-Saxons and Scandinavians for work in farming, construction, and more. The slaves had rights. After a time, some might be able to save enough money to buy their freedom. The town of Jorvik. The city of York has known many names throughout history. The Romans called it Boracum, the Anglo-Saxons knew it as Jorvik. After the Great Heathen Army conquered the town in 866 CE, the Vikings gave it a new name, Jorvik. After its capture by the Vikings, Jorvik, a picture in this screenshot from the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, grew quickly in land wealth and people, it became a center of commercial, political and social power. Even though it had been wrenched from Christian hands by a so-called heathen army, Yorick was still an important place for Anglo-Saxon Christians, as a center of trade and cultural exchange. Yorick was one of only 2 towns in Anglo-Saxon territories where an archbishop had a see, a seat of Christian religious authority. The Archbishop of Yorick oversaw all the Christian faithful in the north from his seat in a heathen town. What's a wick? The modern city of York has known many names throughout history. Anglo-Saxons call it York, the Scandinavians consider the name called Yorick, but names offer a clue to the history of the city. The word wick refer to an emporium, a place of exchange or trade where scales like these might have been used to weigh silver. When looking at a historical map of Northern and Western Europe, one can see many towns whose names end this way, suggesting that they were once trading centers like Yorick. There is a theory that the word wick, combined with Inger, is at the root of the word Viking itself. Inger means those who belong to, together with wick creates. Those who belong to the place of trade or exchange. The Vikings may have been called Vikings because they were traveling from trading center to trading center, from wick to wick. The word wick also means bay or inlet in Old Norse and in modern Swedish, which could also be at the root of the word Viking. Character unlocked Freya. Naming the land. When the Nordic peoples settled throughout the territory that would become known as a Danelaw, they would name the places they seized or built. To name a place was a way for Scandinavian settlers to claim it as their own. This map shows a selection of locations in Anglo-Saxon Britain whose names had their origins in Old Norse. The Scandinavians were not the only people to name their surroundings. Anglo-Saxons had named their cities and towns before the Vikings arrived, and they continued to rename them long after the Vikings settled. For example, the Roman town Boracum was called Furuvik, but the Anglo-Saxons were named Jorvik by the Vikings and is today known as York. Huh. There's one left. Where is that one? Oh, there. coastal trader. The coastal trader was a light, practical Norse ship designed to carry cargo. Easy to handle, she weighs so little that she could be pulled onto the shore, even carried on the Vikings' shoulders from one current to the next. While the coastal trader is sometimes seen as a little sister of the cargo ship, the two were different in looks, load and function. As seen in this picture, the coastal trader had a rounder shape and higher freeboard than the cargo ship. She was also much lighter, so light that she could carry no more than 4.5 tons at a time. That still sounds like a lot to me. Too much to weight and she might sink or capsize. The coastal trader also relied much more on oars to navigate rivers than larger ships did. This meant that she needed a larger crew to man those oars, between 10 to 15 sailors. Light as she was, the coastal trader was usually used to carry domestic cargo along the Scandinavian coast. Nevertheless, she was still able to cross great distances offshore, transporting goods, merchants, and sailors from Scandinavia to its colonies. And that was the last one, I think. Yeah. Alright, so that is it for this, and in the next episode we're back to the normal game again, and we're gonna do... We still have a lot of things to do. And we're gonna do the start with the Beowulf quest that I haven't done yet. So if you like this, please like and subscribe and comment. And thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.